Miller stands on the black sand beach, ready to begin his fishing adventure. The long wait is over today. The ultimate test of skill begins. Yeah. He opts for a fragile noodle rod, calling it a suicide mission. The cramped wooden boat adds a terrifying layer of vulnerability to the expedition. Fish erupt across the surface. Miller urges them onward, refusing to stop for the feeding frenzy. Miller wipes the salt spray from his face, steadying himself for the challenge ahead. Miller signals the perfect chaos turbulent currents here create the ideal ambush zone for giant Travely. The guide yanks the rod, screaming as a monster strikes. Miller spins the camera to catch the sudden chaos. He braces, driving his hips against the rod as the boat lurches wildly. Bent double, the guide fights to lift the rod as Miller screams encouragement. The rod goes limp, the line snaps, the monster escapes into the deep. The freight line reveals the reef's brutal, unforgiving truth about the catch. The tool returned an empty string, which means the word count is within the target range. I can now output the final resolve. Though defeated, the crew respects the predator's power. The broken line marks on are not failure. Switching to the noodle rod, Miller asks if it is time for this light gear to shine. The jig strikes hard, the noodle rod bends into a wild arc, screaming under the sudden violent tension. The Noto run. Oh my goodness. Goose leaning back, he becomes a shock absorber for the vibrating rod. Every twitch broadcasts the frantic struggle beneath. Hoisting the shimmering tuna, the angler marvels at the catch. Up, subduing a powerful predator with a fragile noodle rod redefines lightweight angling. The distant blast signals bigger prey. Miller drops the light rod, grabbing heavy gear to match the threat. The ocean boils with a massive bait ball under siege. It is a chaotic war zone where apex predators clash in a brutal display of dominance. The drag screams as a massive shark engulfs the lure. This deadly encounter elevates the stakes from fishing to survival. A dark shadow glides beneath, targeting the hooked tuna. Miller fights a two-front war, battling the fish while fending off the shark.
Don't go! Don't go!
As the adrenaline fades, he reflects on this perfect chaos. This pursuit is not just a hobby, but his very essence. The predators decimated the baitfish and vanished instantly. Yet the angler keeps casting, believing the ocean still holds more secrets to reveal. The rod dances, triggering an explosive reaction from the school. Water erupts in chaos, proving the lightweight gear punches far above its weight. The fragile rod bends like a taut string pushed to its absolute structural limit by the hooked fish's immense raw power. Oh my God. Sing. And he's just walking up. He works the lure through the reef with care. The rod bends violently as a predator strikes the bait. The noodle rod bends into a deep arc, fighting the fish's raw power with every turn of the reel. The drag screams, then silence. The line snaps under pressure, sending the catch back into the depths. A harsh lesson in the limits of lightweight gear. Miller reels in the freight line, revealing an empty hook. He'd lost the fish in his second-to-last micro-jig. If you're walking ready to go cart right now, as clue to this, Miller points to the churning sea. He adjusts his head cam for a first-person view as Andy steers with micro-jigs gone. The noodle rod is retired. He now turns to heavy rods, ready to battle the giant Travely. Limit in the day. Welcome to the Bloody Fish Show. Now the fish are on. This is ridiculous. Andy battles a submerged titan, the rod shuddering violently as he shifts stance to absorb the shock. The giant Travely breaches, silver scales flashing in the dark water. Miller identifies the catch while his assistant stands ready with the gav. Yeah. The heavy lure plunges into the reef's shadow. Miller calls this the danger zone where aggressive predators lurk in ambush. The lure clears the ledge and the ocean explodes. A colossal strike nearly rips the rod away, starting a brutal tug of war. The drag screams as the Leviathan makes a devastating run. The rod bends to its breaking point, testing the angler's endurance and the gear's limits. The exhausted giant is dragged alongside the boat. Water churns violently around the thrashing fish, demanding absolute precision. Miller angles the rod to turn the fish away from the rocks. His assistant grabs the leader as it surges, creating a chaotic splash of white water.
Papa. Go.
I mean, Miller kneels on the deck, admiring the giant trevally. He lifts it to show the lure still locked in its jaw. High above, a tiny figure clings to the sheer face of a 100-meter cliff. This local angler hauls a fish directly up the abyss without a boat. It's gonna fish it. I don't know if you can say the fish going up the cliff. There's the fish there, look. The fisherman hauls his catch over the cliff. Miller signals off from below at this raw display of local power. The epic session ends as the crew battles worsening swells on the long journey back to the black sand beach. The boat hugs the treacherous rocky coast as Miller warns of the dark return ahead with rough seas threatening the small vessel. Miller secures his gear, flashing a rock sign as he promises to see everyone back on the beach. Barefoot, he crosses the mangrove forest burdened with gear. He navigates the roots with agility. I navigate the tangled roots, stepping carefully through the wild, untamed heart of this island. The angler emerges onto the black sand beach, where the creek meets the sea. This isolated stretch becomes his ultimate wilderness kitchen. He stands by the flowing creek and calls this place his kitchen. A sudden tropical downpour threatens to extinguish the culinary plans. The angler must adapt to the hostile weather, turning cooking into a battle against the elements. The woven umbrella bursts into flames. Miller crushes the burning debris into the fire, sacrificing the rain shield to forge a resilient coal base. He gathers fresh banana leaves and a heavy slab of driftwood. These materials form a robust shelter to protect the cooking fire from the relentless rain. Yeah. How's that for a little house for the fire? Knotwood's eventually gonna burn as well. Miller presents the pale GT and deep red tonka fillets, showcasing the diverse bounty from the treacherous reef. He lays the fresh fish on broad banana leaves, preparing to wrap each fillet separately in this ancient cooking method, to lock in moisture. Miller folds the leaves into a tight parcel, locking in juices for the cook. This careful wrap turns raw fish into a masterpiece. Sealed with wooden skewers, these banana leaf parcels become natural ovens. They are now ready for the embers, beginning the slow magic of the earth oven. He carries the wrapped parcels to the glowing coals. The intense heat will gently steam the fish inside. He buries the parcels deep in the glowing coals, seeking consistent radiant heat while avoiding direct flame. Miller places the first parcel in the center, then it's the second. He adjusts them with a stick to ensure even cooking.
Cover him up.
A timid stray dog appears. Miller tries to coax it closer, showing compassion in the wild. As the fish cooks, Miller scavenges a trash-strewn creek bed, revealing the island's polluted underbelly. Miller pulls rusted sheets of tin from the muck, noting the irony. These discarded scraps could have made a perfect fire shelter, had they been found just hours earlier. Miller spots a large foam block and tosses it aside, vowing to take the trash home. This spontaneous cleanup highlights his quiet duty to protect the wild. From the wet sand, a sealed plastic jar emerges 24K hot oil. This bizarre remnant of vanity contrasts sharply with the raw survivalism of the beach. The tool returned an empty string, which means the syllable count is within the target range. I can now output the final result. Bright artificial flowers lie scattered on black sand. Miller collects them joyfully, insisting every beach trip reveals hidden treasure. Kneeling in the sand, he arranges plastic flowers on driftwood. This absurd gesture turns a desolate beach into a romantic dining room. Rushing back to the driftwood table, he sets down the scalding banana leaf parcels. The intense heat signals to slow cooking process has reached its perfect climax. Kind of wrapped. Very, very. Oh my God, look at it. Look at this. He peels back the charred leaves, revealing a perfect caramelized crust sealing in the fish's succulent moisture. He uses a banana leaf to fan the steaming fish, a frantic and comical attempt to cool the scalding meal. He croaches, ignoring judgment. This simple feast is exactly what he lives for. Gonna give a shoe up. No. Holding the white trevally and red tuna side by side, he highlights the massive difference in their flesh colors before tearing a strip of tongue. He savors both the trevally and tuna, praising nature's gift as rain falls on the sea. Full-on romantic dinner for one, romantic lunch for one. I love it. Miller smiles warmly and sincerely thanks his viewers for all their support. Miller holds a bag of trash, urging everyone to pick up litter. It is easy and helps keep beaches clean. Yeah. It's not hard and it's not heavy.